So, fans of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise will most likely not be surprised to learn that Robert Englund, aka Freddy Krueger, went to meet an 18-year-old fan with lung disease. This was done thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and comicbook.com basically decided that it would be something to cover. A good story, and to be honest with you, I think that it's actually pretty great. I have no problems with this at all, and you can see the Illinois tweet, the Make-A-Wish, to Illinois tweet up on the screen right now. And to be fair with you, this is definitely something that should make fans of both the franchise and Robert Englund happy. It's no surprise that Robert is a nice guy to the fans that actually have know about him and know of what he does. He's pretty well loved, and thanks to being a good guy and basically being part of a seriously iconic franchise that will never let you sleep the same way again if you know the franchise. This is pretty epic kind of stuff, and I'm thinking that someone like Robert Englund doing stuff like this still ages and ages later is pretty damn crazy if you think about it. The problem that I have, however, comes from a point later in the article. That whole section at the top, great. But then afterwards, the writer basically criticizes the 2010 remake of the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie, saying that fans felt the lack of Englund and didn't respond to it, which is stupid. Because I don't think that that's what actually happened, right? To me, the biggest issue with the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street movie was that it was uninspired and completely recycled everything, basically. It was literally an attempt to remake the original film, which is why it was called the remake, with jokes from later films thrown in to incite some sort of, I don't know, nostalgia for the character. It was the weirdest and stupidest thing that they could have done. They should have... Honestly, it's just that's where they went wrong with the whole film. To me, a film like this, it just should not be remade, right? You should not remake it, but instead you should reboot this, right? Don't recreate the character, but recreate the suspense that surrounds Freddy Krueger. Act like the audience doesn't know who Freddy is. Like they've never met this guy before. Like the suspense is still around this dirty old man hunting our cast of young teens. And don't make the teens the generic, one is the bad boy, one is the sporty star, one's the hot girl, and the other one is the girl next door. Make them real people. People that we can actually enjoy watching, people we don't want to die, and then start to take them away from us. One or even two at a time. Imagine that, having two people die in a dream sequence at one hit. And I know they did that in number 3, but that was kind of when everyone came together. So that wasn't really what I mean. But how crazy would it be to see two people join a dream sequence and then both of them die? You're expecting someone to survive. Anyways, why do we need to see just one victim per dream? This has basically been a staple, except for, I think number 3 was the only one that they did it. But every other movie, they had one victim per dream. Why do we need that? Let's maybe renew Freddy's abilities in the movies, right? There's so much that he could do and that they can do. New Line Cinema could do with a character like Freddy. And yet we get this remake bandwagon that everyone was on, and in 2010 that's what happens, and then we see exactly what happens when they try and do this remake thing. It's just stupid, and honestly it just should not have been done. And to be fair with you, by the way, I don't think that the newest Nightmare movie was all that bad, as long as, and this is the precursor, right? It's not bad as long as you pretend that it's the very first Nightmare on Elm Street movie that was ever made, and it's completely new to audiences. But the problem is that this movie actually had been overshadowed by the previous installments, which is silly if you think about it. It shouldn't have had that problem. But the thing is that the previous installments were way more creative and way more enjoyable. And I think the biggest focus that they had for Nightmare in 2010 was this whole CGI aspect, which just should not have been the main focus of a film. It should have been the story, the plot development, and the characters. And they did not do that. Now, I'm definitely going to agree here that I enjoyed the fact that this movie was a lot darker than the other movies, and it incorporated the idea of basically dreaming while you're awake in a very interesting way. So it had some new elements to it that's definitely there. It had some exciting stuff, some exciting ideas. I think that the execution of the whole movie basically was just the poor attempt. They were trying to milk this character and they didn't want to let it go to waste. And this is pretty much, this is what happens. There's no innovation. We just rehash and reuse what we've had before. And look, while I enjoyed the movie when I saw it in 2010, now it's basically one of those films that I put on as like background noise if I don't want to be disrupted by something, which is a shame because it had a lot of potential. And the article itself ends with England saying that he actually wouldn't be able to return to this iconic role. If we look at what it says, he says, I'm too old to do another Freddy now. England previously shared with comicbook.com, if I do a fight scene now, it's got to be real minimal because I can't snap my head for 8 different takes and different angles. My spine gets sore. I can still be mean and scary, but I'm mostly relegated now to sort of Van Helsing roles, old doctors and yeah, that word. So it's fun that the last moment of me ever playing Freddy is a wink to the audience, and I think that's awesome. So anyone, basically, by the way, who's hoping for England to return to this role, you're going to be disappointed by that. So I'm very sorry about that. However, I would love to see people from the older movies make cameo appearances in future movies. I think that would be that's something that I think is underutilized in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, especially if they do reboot the series. That's one thing that I think they should do, is throw a nod to the older movies and the original franchise. Even have Heather Langenkamp and Robert Englund in there somewhere doing something crazy. Maybe have Englund be a doctor for like 2 seconds. Even, Lisa Wilcox or Danny Hassel, who were in number 4 and number 5. They'd be great. Why not have them there just to do something random, some if you blink you'll miss the moment. This is one of those things that I'm very keen to see happen, and I would love to see them actually reuse this franchise, make it again, reboot it, and make it something that's awesome and new. But who knows what's actually ever going to happen, and if we're ever going to see another Nightmare movie, or when it will be released, because I'm sure that they want to do another one. They probably just haven't found the right script. But for now, we'll just have to wait and enjoy the previous, 8 films? Which, to be fair with you, for the most part, they definitely still hold up. So if you haven't seen A Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 7, which is the Wes Craven's New Nightmare, or even Freddy vs. Jason, go check them out. I definitely recommend those movies, and at least the original film, by the way. If you're looking for something that's suspenseful and not just some sort of a horror comedy sort of thing, number 1 is the movie to watch, suspenseful as the day it came out. So go check that out. Anyways, guys, that is all from me. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. I always appreciate knowing what you guys enjoy and what you guys don't enjoy. Leave a comment down below. Do you think that we need another Nightmare on Elm Street movie? Do you think that it's done and it should just be buried like Freddy Krueger was in number 3? Or what's the go there? Let me know, guys. And as always, spread some peace, spread some love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.